Hi, and welcome to the April 2022 Startup Success Newsletter. So this month, I want to talk about governance. I know, not the most exciting topic, but it is really important. If you've been following the Twitter thing that's going on at the moment between Elon Musk and the board, it's a perfect example of the difficulties founders can have when they start to implement governance for their company. So I thought I'd do a quick video to help you understand some of the questions that it's raising. So governance is the structures of accountability. So typically you will have a board that controls the strategy. You have the C-suite, so the chief exec and COO, CTO, and so on, who are responsible for the execution of the strategy. And then you have your shareholders or your investors. Now, the three are supposed to look after different parts of the agenda. They each have a different intention. They want to make sure that there's longevity of the company, that it can survive, that they generate as much revenue as possible, and they get that return back to the shareholders. What we're seeing in Twitter is this structure actually kind of working as designed, because they're getting in each other's way. And that's the kind of point. They all have to agree on the direction of the company and that it is the most profitable way of doing it. What we're seeing in Twitter at the moment is that the board are holding tight to their current strategy, and the shareholders, led by Elon, are trying to disrupt that and agitate that because they don't feel that they're going in the right direction. Now, we do have to separate out here between the personalities involved. There is a general sense that the board of Twitter aren't particularly innovative. Changes take a long time to happen in Twitter. We still don't have that edit button, which is ridiculous, but it takes a while. And when you compare it to other social media platforms of roughly the same age, they're not generating nearly as much revenue. So there is a personal and customized reason why this is causing a problem. But it does highlight the issue we have when you, as a founder, start getting investors who have controlling equity, and also when you start putting your board together, because the three have to agree on the vision of the company, but come from different angles. So an investor wants a return on their money, and they want that as quick as possible, usually. So their focus will be on, are you generating enough revenue or potential revenue? The board will be looking for that strategy of longevity, as I say, to make sure it still exists in a few years' time, as well as that return to investors. And then the founder typically is more involved in the execution of the idea. Now, obviously, when it's just you, you're all three, so it doesn't become an issue. But as you start getting your investors in, it can be a difficult dynamic when the investor sees that there is a different way of making money than the direction that you as founder want to take. And it can become a really real source of conflict between the two, because who ultimately controls the company? You as founder have the vision, but they've invested. So you have to bear that in mind when you're looking to secure funding. Is it an investor that you understand specifically what their involvement will be, and also what their intentions are, what's their perception of the company, so that you know that further down the line, you're not going to run into issues with he said, she said around what was the agreed influence that the shareholders could have. There is definitely evidence that shareholders can put unnecessary pressure on in that quest for revenue generation. And that's definitely a conversation that previous to the Twitter thing was definitely going on. Like, do shareholders control too much of the influence? But what we're seeing here is the different layers of accountability really holding their own in terms of what they've been asked to look out for. Now, personalities aside, they may not be the right people to do that, but the structures are doing exactly what they should do. So I've attached an article around the whole Twitter conversation, specifically around this, around the tension between the different governing bodies. Look at it as a founder. Look at it as, if I was Jack Dorsey, and this was my company. Is this the way that I want these to interact? And can I see all 3 points of view? It's easy to pick a side, but as a founder, you have to understand each perception, each perspective, and make sure that you don't lose your vision inside that tussle for control. Have a great month, and I'll see you in May.